What's up, everybody? This is Coach Ross. I don't do this very often. This is a live stream here. Um, so if you saw the links that I sent out, that Coach Bryan Deason sent out probably about a week ago, we were talking about doing a little live stream event here where we are kind of talking about um, the last little bit of our series that we've been doing with with regards to our series we started, which was the air raid blueprint coaching the system. So let me give you just kind of a breakdown of that video, or of the idea of the series, because this is supposed to be the closeout session of the series, where him and I were going to be coming in here to talk and answer any kind of questions if anybody had any, and kind of just closing out the series. Coach Bryan Deason is supposed to join me. We're kind of having some minor technical difficulties, so we're trying to hash those out as we go. And as always, even with live TV, with these live streams, sometimes there's just technical difficulties that you got to work through on the fly. So that's what Coach Deason is doing right now as we speak. So hopefully we get that figured out, and hopefully he gets on here in a few minutes. But going back a while, I came up with an idea with a series to figure out, or to think about how can we help, how can we do things to help, how can we make things easier, what could I do, what could I do as far as, what helped me when I first came into the whole coaching realm, what could I do? So, like, I kinda started developing an idea, and I wanted not to do it by my own, because I've done enough series on my own that, I figured I want some help with this. But I kinda thought, what helped me? Because, way back when I was still kinda trying to learn how to do the air raid and more of the spread offense stuff, I really, you know, turned to YouTube quite a bit, and there's so many things on YouTube that there's so many available, what do you call it, like, resources, and they're free, resources, and essentially that's obviously what my channel is. My channel is free to anybody who wants to use it, who wants to check it out, who wants to see it, and it is just free knowledge coming from me, and obviously, me as a coach, I take that knowledge, and I've taken it from other coaches, and I've kinda balled it up and mixed it up, and spit it out as one of my own, my own ideas, kind of mixed in with my own ideas. And sure enough, that's kind of what I'm talking about on this channel. So the idea of the series was, how can we bring you some concepts, some things that the air raid offense is known for? How can we bring them to you in a way that is easy to understand, or easier, I should say? How can we make it easy as possible? Because we we our mindset, our way of thinking was, if you can understand it, then you can teach it, and then you can teach it to your kids, and they can understand it, and then once they understand it, then everything works out. And so, let's see, I got Coach, I see you in the, are you in the, don't see you in the green room yet, so go ahead and join up, Coach, if that's you watching. But anyways, how could we make this more understandable, you know? And obviously I didn't want the series to go long. The whole idea of it. Didn't want the series to go long. So,
You got me?
and so I got you, Coach.
You got me now?
Still ain't got no audio.
Hmm.
Still ain't got no audio. So I don't know um what we can do about this. So we'll see what we can do here. I don't know why we're not getting any audio with it. All right, check the settings. Go ahead. So, anyways, like I was saying, I'm just gonna keep going, Coach, if you don't mind. So, as you can see, Coach Deason's on the screen now. We can't hear him, but kind of approached him a while back about an idea for the series, and just make it simple. What can we do to bring ideas for the air raid to coaches who maybe are looking for an easier way to explain it, or maybe confused on how to explain certain concepts and how to translate what they know about the air raid offense to their kids, whether it be youth, whether it be middle school, whether it be high school. How could we bring it to you to make it easiest possible? And so we started developing some ideas and just kind of thought about, well, YouTube is a platform where, coaches give their perspective on how to teach things. Well, why don't we turn it into a video a week or whatever it could be, to where we are talking and breaking down a concept, and we are talking about it to the point where, how would we explain it? What is the easiest way we can deliver it to you to explain it, and then how that translates and how you can teach that to your. So we, pick and choose, and we didn't go through any kinda itinerary as far as a checklist of what plays. We kinda, "Well, let's talk about this play." Obviously, we hit the main staples when it came to the air raid. We were talking about 4 verts, we're talking about mesh and stick. Okay, those obviously, those were coming, but then we kinda touched on a couple that, are not as well known, or is not as talked about, or is not as, I guess the word sexy, as you would would call it, in the air raid offense, but they're still used and widely used. And we kind of explained those and how we would go about teaching them, and different coaching points, delivering that to you so that we could um make it easier for you to understand. And that was the whole goal for this series. Again, and I kind of talked with coach and said, in behind the scenes kind of thing, and said, well, how many YouTube videos or how many podcasts have we sat in front of on our computer screen, whether it's on the computer screen or or um or on your phone, where you're just sitting there for a couple hours. I said, I don't, and I said, I've done that. I can't remember how many times I've done that. And boy, after you're done, you are kind of spent. You're kind of spent and tired, and have to really, really retrace over what you want. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to deliver episodes, or series with episodes that were short, quick, and to the point. Now, obviously, when we delivered each concept, and I'm going to show you, kind of go through each one here in a minute. But when we delivered each concept, um, the whole idea was, so, for example, the first episode, I believe we talked about stick. And so stick was, okay, what is the easiest way to teach it? I'm not talking about, don't show multiple formations. Don't show Pick one formation, explain the rules out of that formation. Maybe explain, well, these rules can translate, because if you watch my videos enough, that I try and have the same rules for a 3x1 and a 2x2, to where those rules can translate no matter what kind of formation is, because typically it's going to be a 2x2 or 3x1. Occasionally you get that 4x1 where you have to change a couple things, but that's, those are the exceptions. So find the base, most vanilla way you can explain it, and then if they want, if they're more curious, or they want to dive deeper down that hole, then they contact us, and they ask us the question, well, what would you do here? What would you do here? What could you add? What kind of motions? What kind of formations could we run this out of? What do you think about, if they wanted to dive deeper into that particular concept for that particular period, um, then they had that opportunity to contact us, and some did, and some contacted us, and absolutely, um, got in there and talked about us. We got you now,
Still
coach?
works? I think
Still
so,
no
maybe.
audio.
That's crazy.
Still no audio. Well, Tell you what, Coach. I don't know what you want to do. If you want to hang out,
Yeah.
it sucks that we don't have any audio for this live thing here. But I'm probably not going to be on too much longer here. If some guys show up, good. If you want to hang out and see if anybody shows up, I'm kind of cycle through it, and then I'm probably getting off myself. Okay, so let me know what you want to do. Shoot me a text or shoot on the screen here, and we'll see what we can do. But anyways, while he is sending me that information there, that communication, we went through it step by step by step, and broke it down as easy as possible. The most vanilla stuff, the kind of like, for example, for me, Stick is a day 2 install. So what would I teach it, or how would I teach it on install day? Not talking about crazy formations, not talking about crazy motions that give so many different looks. That comes. But what can we show you to make the teaching process as easy as possible, to where you're not sitting in front of a screen for 3 hours taking notes, trying to figure out the ins and outs of every little concept? Because quite frankly, we talked about it multiple times on every single episode, that every single one of those episodes could have gone well into 2 hours just on the one concept alone. Because we could have dived in real deep, and gotten way over our heads with formations and tags and motions and all kinds of stuff that comes with it. But the truth is, if you are not good at the basics, then forget all that other stuff. That other stuff is just, it ain't worth it. It's not going to help you. It may look pretty on film, but if you're not producing numbers, if you're not producing yards, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through and go through. Did I get in there? What do you think?
Probably not.
No, I don't know what's going on with it. Okay. I'm going to just pop this on real fast. Here, I want share screen. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to go to my YouTube channel. We're going to kind of go through these one by one. So if you can see my YouTube channel here, we're going to start. I'm just going through the layout here. So stick concept. So as you can see, for the most part, I'm just going to kind of go through these. We have the goal was to try and keep these mastering the air raid blueprint series to under an hour. If we could, every episode under an hour. Now, of course, there were a couple that went a little over that. Wasn't exactly thrilled by it, but you know what? We tried to cover it as best we can, and sometimes just had a lot of information we had to cover, and so we couldn't just cut it down to that time frame. But all in all, the goal was to keep these anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour at the most. And as you can see, first episode 45 minutes, second episode's an hour, third episode's 36 minutes, fourth is 41, 42, 35. We had 2 that were an hour, and then our last one was about 50 minutes, a little over 50 minutes. So all in all, I think we achieved the goal. And so it was definitely something that we hit on that. That was one of our 2 goals. So we talked about it and we made it happen. So let me just go through the episode quick here, and I won't be long here. So this was kind of just a closeout here with me and Coach Deason, but since his audio is not working, we're probably gonna have to cut this short. And it was meant to kind of answer any questions if anybody had any additional questions. But let me just go through this one more time. So first episode, like we talked about. All right. Now, me personally, Stick is my favorite play that we have. I love that play. I find many different ways to run it, to call it, to show it. So Stick could quite easily be the day 1 install for me. It could be. if I we really need, but we build everything off 4 verts, and then we go from there. So stick was the first episode that we talked about. Then we got into one that's not as used. It's still a very popular one, which is fade out and slow and slot fade concepts. It's not as highly used as like stick and mesh and 4 verts, but it's still a very widely used concept within the air raid. So kind of broke down 2 concepts in one. That's why that episode is an hour long. So go check that one out for sure. And then we got into a series where we started bringing in some guests. And so we had first one guy who got me started was Matt Lasker. If you haven't gone and checked out his Player Our book uh, on YouTube, go check it out. Got some good stuff over there, especially his app that trains the quarterbacks. So that is all in there in that video. But he helped us break down and show us shallow cross. So we started talking about the shallow cross with him. So it was really fun getting some guests on here. So we started a little train of 4 episodes with guests. So Matt Lasker was the first guest, and he's kind of one of the guys that kind of got me started in the whole YouTube thing. So owe him a lot, and he's a great friend, and truly kind of go back to him on certain questions, or even today. So Matt, again, if you're listening or you see this, thanks again for joining us. Then we had AJ from Michigan. He is the owner of the spread option, shotgun spread option Facebook group. So make sure you go check that out. That link in that description on that video. But he helped us kind of talking about the snag concept or the corner concept. He kind of broke down some stuff that he does. So again, had a great guest. And we had another guy from Michigan come on, and we talk about flood. We talk about sale. And so he kind of brought in some things, brought in some ideas of how he's using it. We had Brian Clee on there. I've had him on here before talking about mesh. We had a kind of a little duel between his defense and my mesh concept. So that was kind of fun. That's way back when. So I have to go back and show you that video. I don't know if it's scroll be able to find it. It's kind of old here, but I don't know if I have the time here. Let's see. There it is right there. So if you haven't, go check that video out. That was video about a year ago. So kind of defending the mesh concept. That was kind of a fun video that him and I did back when. But Brian, again, if you see this, again, thank you for checking it out. I appreciate it. So then we had a little bit of a break, and then we had Anthony Arniga from California. He has probably been my biggest commenter as of late on the channel, and I really appreciate it. And I kept saying, we're going to get together and collab or something. And sure enough, we was able to get him on for an episode talking about Smash. Um, Now, Smash, I mean, that is one I'm surprised we kept it under 35 minutes because that is a concept that there are so many variations and and every other variation is different, obviously. And then on top of that, there are different variations for different coverages. So we could have very easily went down the rabbit hole on the Smash concept because there's so many different variations, like I said. But luckily, we were able to keep it at 35 minutes. But definitely go check that one out as well. That was a good one. And it was awesome having him online. I'm actually going to be having him back on the channel here soon to actually break down his offense because his offense is very unique. He does a lot of spread and air raid concepts mixed in with the power run game. So I'm definitely curious to hear about what he has to say and how he does some things because, quite frankly, he has described some things that are very similar to the offense that I have that I'm in right now, where it's more of a power running game mixed in or sprinkled in with those air raid and those spread concepts. So very curious as to what he has to say about that. So we're getting that. All right, then the last 3 are probably, the more juicy ones, I guess you would say. So obviously we have 4 verts. So a lot of people say, "Well, why didn't you start with 4 verts?" Because a lot of times you see, coaches go on, talking about the air raid. The first thing they talk about is 4 verts. So I kind of wanted to save it. I knew also too that talking about 4 verts, that was going to be probably a long one because there's so much you could do with it. There's so much you can say about it. There's so much you could talk about. So much you can show. So 4 verts is God. It's got maybe 2 days of install. You could do so much with that because that is the holy grail when it comes to air raid, in my opinion. It's something that Mike Leach lived on, and it's our offense. It's what our offense or our passing game is built off of. Is four verticals. So that is a staple in the air raid offense, as well as the next one, which is mesh. Mesh made famous by Hal Mummy and Mike Leach. Again, there is no right way to wrong way to run mesh. There's so many different variations, so it's kind of pick your poison. So again, that video could have ended up being really, 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 really long. That one went over an hour, as you can see, because there's just so. I mean, mesh. When it comes to the air raid offense, especially mesh, and we talked about it. It's expensive. It's an expensive concept that takes some time because it takes some time to get used to because it is timing. Everything has to match up, and if it's not ran properly, if routes are not ran in the right depth, the right speed, then it definitely gives you problems. So definitely go check out Mesh. You see how me and Coach Deason talk about it, how we teach it, or how we go about teaching the base concept that we install into our offense. And then last one, Coach Deason kept bothering me. When we can talk running game, man. When we can talk running game. Well, the last episode to talk a little bit of running game because we do run the ball in the air raid offense, believe it or not. And so we talk about our run concepts now. We didn't go through every single run concept that you can use. I mean, really, there is no set rule as far as what run concept you can use in the air raid offense. Doesn't really matter. But I like to keep it small, and that's what the entire playbook. Keep the playbook small and use variations and motions and formations. I'm a big believer of more formations in plays because if I can show one play 50 ways, that makes it look like 50 different plays. So I'm good with that. So I am a firm believer of formations over plays. So like with everything else, the the run game, in my opinion, should be small as well, unless you can master all these things. Because again, you've heard people talk about adding and adding and adding to your playbook. That's fine. You can be good at it, but that old adage that you hear, why be average at a bunch of things as opposed to be great at a few things? I'd rather be great at a few things than average at a bunch. So those are the episodes. Go check them out. There are 9 of them. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 of them. So this is actually the episode 10 with the live stream here. So make sure you go check that stuff out. Okay. So, yeah. So I appreciate everybody watching. I really do. It was definitely a fun experience, and I hope that most of you, or hope a bunch of you, got a lot out of this. I really do. It was a good series that if you need me to add more to it or want to hear, or maybe there's even a concept that we didn't cover. Maybe there's a concept on there that you'd like to discuss, talk about, break down, whatever it might be. I am all for that. I'm going to start doing some film breakdowns, and I'm going to start producing those as videos. Now, here in North Carolina, we are now officially full go into our season prep here. So, I can't promise the videos are going to be a regular stream because I'm getting real busy, but I will try and get some out as much as possible, as fast as possible, to where we need. So in the uh, whether it's message me, email me, if you need or want me to cover a certain topic, please let me know. I'll be happy to abide by that. So let me know what topic you want to cover here, and I will be happy to cover it. But don't think anybody's coming as far as questions here, Coach. So I wish I could hear from you. Maybe you can sign language it. I don't know. But, Oh, I want to say my final thanks to you, Coach, for tag teaming this series with me, being the my right hand man. You know, I really appreciate the help. You as always brought a lot to the table, and you have a lot of content, Coach, and really do appreciate it. And maybe we can do a collab on something else here soon. Maybe in the off season, we'll figure something out. We can come, bring something, even better back. But again, I just want to express my gratitude to you. Um, and guys, like I've said before, you see him, he knows football, he knows ball. So go check him out. You know, he's always willing to talk. He's always willing to help anybody out. So make sure if you don't have his contact information, check out one of my videos on the description. Every single description, he can probably put it in a comment, and I will post it right up here. So if he does that, I'm gonna put it in here so that people can see it. His contact information. So make sure you go check him out. He knows his stuff in his offense, the way he explains his offense. I believe, Coach, there was a long time ago. Let's see, get that one on here. Let's see, copy that. Hold on. I think it was a long time ago. I'll put that in there. Show that. There we go. There you go. And playercards.com, huh? You're gonna release playbooks. Okay, cool. So go check that out, guys. I'm gonna leave that up there for a minute. Definitely go check it out. But I remember there was a long time ago. I can probably go scroll through my video list, and you and I, maybe some other guys were on there, and you were just kind of breaking down your offense. And I'm sure it's evolved since then, because that was probably a year or two ago. So that being said, go check his stuff out. He's got a lot of good things. And so, Coach, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I don't know why we can't hear you. Yeah, there you go. Sign it out. I appreciate your help, man. You've knocked it out of the park with this, and so thanks for making this series a success. And yeah, so I wish I could give you the final word like we normally do, but we'll sign it off here because I don't think anybody else is coming in to answer some questions. Maybe we've already answered them. I don't know. So I'm going to kind of cut this stream short. So nice little short live stream here, and we will be getting on out of here. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So y'all take care. Coach Deason, we'll see you. All right, and yeah, stay tuned for new videos. They're coming out here soon, I promise. And till then, go score points, fellas. All right, we'll see y'all.